Chapter 51, Beastlands. Poor woman. She will be all right. I smiled, rubbing Sasha's head as we lay in bed, ready to sleep, while she snuggled up to me. She must be devastated. I can't imagine what she is feeling right now. It will pass, and we can support her if she needs help. She is not a bad person. I will talk with her when she is out of bed and show her around. Maybe not in the winter, ehehe. Hey, Leon. What is it? Are you like her? The sudden question stunned me as my hand stopped playing with her hair, making my whole body stiff for a moment. Looking down, watching her bright eyes, I knew what she was thinking and reading from my gaze, so I decided not to deflect or lie. Yeah, that makes sense, she smiled, nodding her head, followed by a happy giggle. It does? Of course. You are weird, say weird things, know weird stuff, and come up with even weirder ideas. Then let me tell you something even weirder, my love. I held nothing back. I told her all that had happened to me, from start to finish, explaining how my old life worked, how it was, and what type of world I lived in. She listened without interrupting me once, looking at me with childlike awe. Whoa, your world sounds very weird. It is magical without magic, but also very violent. Waging wars like you described is even more destructive than magic, no? Yeah, we were capable of leveling whole regions without the use of magic. But that was in a different world. Now this is who I am. This is my second life. I also need to add that I enjoy this one much more than the previous, mainly thanks to you. Ehehehe, flatterer. She giggled again, kissing my lips and hugging me proudly. Will you tell this to the others? No, I am not planning on that. If someone close to me asks, yes. But it is a past that is no longer important. You are the only one who knows about it, and it will remain that way if nothing happens. Good. I know you best because I am your first wife. As it should be. Weird things are leaving your lips today, one after the other. What happened, Sasha? Nothing, she said, going pink, embracing me, hiding her face. Sure. The way you are including Luna in everything says otherwise. You two even join me in the bathroom nowadays and wash my body. Are you trying to make me have a threesome, huh? I asked jokingly, but the way she went silent stunned me. No way. Really? I won't say no if you are interested in it. But is she aware of it? You are not forcing her, are you? No, I'm not, she protested, looking so embarrassed she wanted nothing but to hide from me. Wait, is this my mother's ploy? Is she ordering you? Huh? No. Okay, she wasn't lying, as that was way too quick of an answer. She was honest about it. Was this all her? Well, her and Luna. Huh? I did not expect it, but I am not a saint to shoot it down. Just thinking about it already made me have a reaction. But Sasha was too distracted this time to notice it. I imagined a lot of things after I found myself here, but didn't know it would turn out this exciting. How? Meanie? Ahahaha. It wasn't my idea, was it? I grinned and continued rubbing her head, teasing her a little as I had a very, very naughty dream that night. Interestingly enough, a few days later, new types of beasts appeared at the pass, but for a whole month, none of them attacked the walls, leaving just as quickly as they appeared. I was curious and frustrated because I needed more beast meat, but this time it was a no-go. What I expected in collecting this winter was now burned to ash, thanks to Sasha's spell. I was thinking of going back home because there was a high chance that the presence of witches and magic in the air kept the new arriving beasts afar. That is highly possible. Elysienne agreed with me when Mikan finally left her room, being cooped up in it for long enough. In my studies, I experimented on a few beasts from the other side of the wall. They are more sensitive to magic, and when feeling stronger individuals than themselves, they either submit or try to flee. But if the mage is perceived as weaker, they will try to eat them. They are interesting, but not so much to be worthy of further study. I disagree with the last part, but sure. I shrugged as we were having breakfast, listening to her voice echoing from within Mikan. Are there other entrances or passes like here? Sasha asked, making me also wait curiously for her answer. Of course, in our empire there is none, but so far what I know there are at least a dozen such entrances to the other side in the other countries. For one, there is the kingdom of Markoth. They have the most entrances, 7 in total. In a way, we are lucky because they deal with more incursions of beasts than us. Huh, I know very little of the other kingdoms. I hummed, thinking about it, calling up the history books I read as a child. No wonder. Elysian chuckled, sounding a bit sarcastic. This is the frontier. This place is an isolated backwater void. Its sole purpose is to be a plug that keeps the only entrance to the Beastlands closed. That's it. You don't trade, you don't innovate, you exist to be the wall plug you are. You are being harsh, Mikan murmured, looking at me apologetically, which I returned kindly. She is correct, or at least right, about how it was. But things are changing. Now I am even thinking about something foolish. Tell us, Elysian urged, even appearing next to Mikan, looking curious, watching me like a hawk. You said the beasts are afraid of strong magic users, yes? What if Sasha here gets strong enough to scare them away? Could we travel around the other side and come out in that… What was it? Markoth? Impossible, she answered at once, shooting me down. You think previous rulers didn't send expeditions into the Beastlands? They did it more than once. There was a period before my time, of course, called the Bestial Wars. Kinky, I joked, making Luna laugh without trying to hold it back. When she realized it came out loudly, and only from her, she turned so red that now I was laughing. With a quick turn, she stood up, bringing us tea and coffee instead, just so she wasn't in the limelight anymore. Finished? Ely grunted, looking at me while Sasha was hiding her own smile behind a napkin. It happened, counting from today, around 800 years ago. It was a beast tide that broke into the country, killing a lot of people. The unified armies took 4 years to kill and drive them back, re-establishing the frontier after its destruction. A campaign into the Beastland followed it. Guess the size of the army by then. 10,000? Sasha asked, uncertain of the numbers, and looking at Ely's expression, she immediately knew she had lowballed it. 50,000. Luna joined in while pouring me coffee, but Ely once again shook her head. 100,000, asked Mikan, but it was wrong again. Huh. Okay, let me go big then. I grinned before giving my tip. 500,000. Very close, she smiled, finally nodding. It was 600,000 soldiers and at least 100,000 war machines. Want to hear the sweet part? They were accompanied by 300 mages, and not just your run-of-the-mill ones. Are there even mages who can be called that? Luna snorted, feeling the old ghost was full of herself. Ha. So sorry, she added quickly, seeing Mikan lower her head, but Elysian ignored her while answering. There are. The size of the empire is vast. We can get mages, but getting capable mages who are valuable is still a roll of a dice. Most of them are weak and have no real hope to amount to anything besides being supporters of the talented ones. What do you mean? I asked, looking at her over my cup, enjoying the aroma of my coffee. As a top witch, I had my own entourage of weaker witches and wizards serving my needs. Their powers were weak, barely able to cast a few spells before being exhausted. They couldn't grasp more complex formations and, in turn, were very limited in use. Their aptitude was subpar, never to be able to cast massive, crucial spells. These types of mages, albeit important, are less so than those who could master magic for real. Their job is usually to help those like me. It is much easier to use a complex formation if it is broken down into parts, and my helpers focus on their own portion. You say there is no chance that a mage improves. Are you sure about it? I questioned her, as it was a point I didn't believe in. There had to be a way. They simply never discovered it. I refused to look at it so grimly as them. That would be a mistake. You can have your optimism. You are still young, so it doesn't hurt. But as life will show you, a mage's powers and aptitude are set at birth. They can improve at first glance, but it is nothing more than finding their limits. The moment they hit it, that's it. Their improvement stops, and they never move forward again. No matter what. I don't believe you. You don't have to. She smiled, not offended at all. Anyway, back to my original tale. Now guess how many returned from the expedition led by that time's Empress, who was also a mighty witch. None, I said promptly, surprising her and making me smile. Otherwise you wouldn't have asked it like this. Foo, good. Yep, nobody returned. All of them were lost to the other side forever. No matter how many go in, nobody comes out. That is how the Beastlands are. It is best if you forget about it. Who knows what kind of abominations roam the other end? Okay. That wasn't convincing, young Leon. She warned me again before disappearing. Don't play with fire, or you may burn down the world. It isn't like I am prepared enough to venture out, I said jokingly, looking at the others, frightened by what Ely had said. Oh well, listen, it seems the winter has settled down. Let's return to my city when the snowfall stops, as it is time to show it to you, Mykan. I think you will like it. I thank you for your trust, Viscount Leon. She stood up, bowing and smiling, and no matter how many times I told her to call me Leon, she was adamant about using honorifics. I think it is what you need. I can see that you are still unsure about what you are. I told her honestly, seeing her eyes wander downwards once again, trying to hide her uncertainty and budding depression. My city is a place to start anew. It is where nobody can become somebody. I am sure you will find yourself there, Mykan, even if you don't want to be a priestess anymore. Ooh, that was nice, Luna whispered, gently clapping, now making me turn embarrassed as I thought back on it. It was so corny. Now that Sasha joins in the applause, capitalizing on my embarrassment, enjoying it, tasting the words felt even worse. Damn it, they got me. It does sound nice, Viscount Leon. What is the city's name? Huh. I flinched, blinking my eyes. That is a good question. Chapter 52. Faith. Heading back to the city was a challenging trek in the knee-high snow, especially for Mykan, who landed face first in the snow multiple times. Sorry, she mumbled as we pulled her up again, and when I looked into her silvery eyes, I realized something. Wait, what is it, Viscount Leon? Your eyes. Yes? She asked, feeling nervous, and her reaction confirmed it even more. With a bit of rummaging through my pockets, I pulled out a letter, holding it before her, about 40 centimeters from her eyes. What? Read it. Come on, it shouldn't be hard, Mykan. Read it, please. I can't, she murmured, her eyes filling up with tears. I knew it. I put the paper away with a snap of my fingers, while Sasha and Luna looked at us puzzlingly. No wonder you are falling around all the time. You need glasses. Those are not cheap, Luna interjected at once. Usually only nobles could pay for them, and I mean nobles in the capital city. I don't think you can get one here anyway. That is true, I murmured, watching Mykan's embarrassed and sad look. I just couldn't help but reach out and start rubbing her head, surprising her. I can't make you one. That is too complicated, and I doubt I have the materials for it. I am, used to it. It's okay. It isn't. Don't belittle yourself, Mykan. You should have told us. Sasha nodded, trying to comfort her while Luna asked the question I was also thinking about. I just didn't want to cut too deep with it. How can a witch have bad eyes anyway? How? I am not a witch, it seems. She answered, sounding heartbroken. A witch shouldn't have bad eyes regardless of age, not one who can heal it, no? I am truly useless. I learned to conceal it, live with it, ignore it, but Viscount Leon is very perceptive. Thank you. Plus, you don't need to hide it. We will get you one. You are part of the church, yes? Then you will write back home, saying you need a shipment of it. Order a batch of glasses, and we will find the one that you need. And please, do not order only one. I bet there will be people under me who will also need it. I don't want to get them one by one, but in one big batch. Oh, okay. I will do so, Viscount Leon. It should not pose that big of a problem. Most scribes do have glasses because copying works all the time. I can say I am recruiting more to serve under me. They didn't send me any helpers at all. She nodded, bowing to me after I released her head, and we began heading back once again. I expected Elysian to speak up, even offer to fix her eyesight, but she didn't. Is she that selfish? Or she can't. She brought me back from the dead, so I guessed it would be trivial for her. What was she doing? She may be a bit more egocentric than I first thought. Well, as long as she is attached to Mykan, she is bound to a place I can monitor. Maybe building a temple is not a bad idea so I can move her into my city. What are you thinking about? Hmm? Your face, Sasha chuckled, pulling on my hand. It says you are juggling some ideas in your head. I'm just curious. He probably was juggling the priestess's boobs. Luna! Eh? I didn't mean it to say out loudly. Well, I did think about it occasionally, but come on. Although, now that she mentioned it, I looked over and imagined it. I couldn't help but smile, making the already embarrassed Mikan begin steaming from the top of her head, releasing even a larger amount of golden light, filling the area around us with the scent of vanilla. What happened? Geez, concentrate, girl. You are disturbing my meditation and leaking out my precious mana. Elysian grunted, although I wasn't sure I believed her reasoning. Sorry. Well, if you want to know, I said, raising my voice to steer the conversation back to its initial point while we were walking, I was thinking about reforming the church. Huh? I could almost hear how their heads snapped right at me, especially Mikan's, who grew up under their care. I admit I know little about the church and its teachings, but I can tell you that people here are not happy with them. Especially after what happened previously, they don't want to deal with them. Usually this is how it goes when even good faith gets distorted and used for selfish reasons. When people see through it, they no longer want to be part of it. I heard what happened. Mikan nodded, but she looked determined, which was a significant upgrade. But they twisted the words and teachings of the 6 gods. I can fix that if you let me, Viscount Leon. We will see. First, why don't you enlighten me? I wasn't really the religious type, so I never paid attention to it. Happily. She wasn't lying. Just watching her retell the stories, I watched how it made her excited and happy. She was devoted, no questions about that. She may be clumsy, but she knows her field, which I can respect. Quickly glancing at Sasha, she remained silent. But I could tell she wasn't fond of the church, no matter how well Mikan conveyed their principles of caring for the people. In the ancient days, when magic was still unknown, 6 gods descended from the skies. It happened 389 years ago, and it is that day from where we keep counting our era of enlightenment. They were Ariana, the goddess of death; Tubu, the god of war; Wyland, the god of magic; Orsi, the goddess of life; Valen, the god of honor; and finally Elise, the goddess of power. They traveled our world, introducing us to magic and its powers before leaving, telling us that one day when we are worthy, we will see the heavens and join them up there. Do we have any proof? I asked subconsciously, but Mikan merely nodded, smiling happily. Yes, all 6 have left behind an artifact, and they said that by using them, we will be able to call upon their presence when we finally travel into the heavens. They are the most sacred and most revered items in our world. Oh. Now that was interesting. With what I experienced, seeing that so-called heaven after my second death, I couldn't chase out the idea from my head. They probably were not gods, but visitors from a different world. Aliens, if you must. That did make sense. If I could study one such relic, where are they now? One is in our possession, in the hands of the Ashilia Empire. It is the Spear of Death, once wielded by the goddess Ariana herself. The last time it showed up was when Ashilia was established. It has been dormant since then. But whenever it was used in the past, empires fell. Then, the Geth Empire to the west has the Medallion of Life, the gift of goddess Orsi. When I was still an acolyte, I visited their temple and saw it for myself. It was glorious. Now I also want to see it. They are nothing that humans could make. They are impervious to all damages, and nothing can stand in their way. Their magic is something that we cannot comprehend. Mikan continued, wholly lost in the saga and in her reverence. The third we know about is the Gauntlets of War, from the god Tubu, and it is in the possession of the Kulman Empire. Wait, we don't know about the last 3. We know of them. She answered me, smiling with a bit of sadness, but they are lost to time. Our empire has been standing gloriously for 2,000 years, but before that, there were others who ruled the land. Evil, ancient forces who battled for the relics of gods. There were many dark and bloody centuries, and we lost the last three. They were the Book of Magic from God Wyland, the Sword of Lightning, wielded by God Valen, and finally the Tiara of Power, a gift of the goddess Elise. As they are unbreakable artifacts, we know that they are not destroyed, but only lost. Huh, it would be nice to find one, I hummed, which made Mikan chuckle. It would give you the right to proclaim yourself as a messenger of the gods, and would give you the right to rule, no matter your background. Ha! Superstitions. I couldn't help but grin, shaking my head, making Sasha copy me. I don't need them for it. My actions will be enough. But others do need to acknowledge you, Mikan countered, speaking seriously. There is no power in the world that does not worship one of the gods. Our empire is amongst the few who follow the oldest path, praying to all six. Most countries adopt only one of the gods. I see. And if there is a power that doesn't acknowledge any of them, it would be branded as a heretic and burnt to the ground by everyone. Correct. Yes, Viscount Leon, that is for sure what would happen. Then I do need a temple. I shrugged. I can't just overturn a 3,000-year-old tradition, not when it is this deeply integrated with everyday life. Well, I am anything if not flexible, so I will adapt. Tell you what, Mikan, you join my school first and begin teaching the people. You will have to work with them and show them the church they know is different from what our previous priests showed. If they accept you, I can build a temple and make you its head priestess. Then we can talk about how to move forward. But, and this is a heavy but, don't teach them dogmas, teach them ideas, but do not force them to accept them, let them choose. Thank you, Viscount Leon. But school? The local nobles and their children? No, I have no nobles under me. There is me and my people. That is it. You will see, the school I am talking about is where we teach all of my people from a young age, as in my city, everyone must know how to read, write, and count. No exceptions. How can they pay the tutors? I don't get it, she mumbled, but it was Sasha who answered her. They don't pay for it. It is given to them by Leon. We ensure that the teachers are paid, be it with money or with other privileges. The people attending the school don't pay anything. As I said, I added with a smile, looking at her over my shoulder, you'll see. It took Mikan and Elysian 2 days to tour the city under Sasha's supervision. I knew that many of the citizens would be apprehensive seeing a priestess walk around, but nobody made a problem for her because she was with my wife. Still, I hoped Oleg would finish raising the first batch of soldiers who would act as my city guards. I trust them, but there ought to be bad apples in every batch. Here you go, Master, Luna whispered, placing a cup of coffee before me while I was sitting behind my office desk, looking at Mikan and Elysian, standing at the other side. Thank you. Well, how is it? Don't need to hold back your townges, ladies. Speak frankly. Marvelous. Weird. Oh? I expected similar responses, but not ones that contradict each other. They may occupy the same body, but they are different, huh? I think what you built up here is marvelous, achieving it without any help. I wouldn't have believed you if you just told me and not showed me. It was clear that Mikan was honest with her words, the light in her eyes and her smile was genuine, and I was sure of it. I can already see that one day this place could rival the capital city in its beauty. Maybe. Elysian nodded, remaining calmer and more critical. The designs are unique, especially your palace, but not something I would find exceptional. What I am more interested in is how you did the sewers and water system. I couldn't sense magic in them. So how did you make the water flow? Is the magic hidden in those water tanks? What makes them work? The one in our capital is supported by 141 types of formations. You couldn't have copied it. I would have sensed it by now. There is no magic involved in it. I smiled proudly, making Elysian's surprise double as she didn't doubt me. It is engineering. Primitive engineering, mind you. The only part where magic is used is in its cleaning process. I will show it when spring comes and the snow melts. There, you could help me. I am looking forward to it. Ha! This is so weird. You call it primitive. Well, it is true as it has no magic, yet it is also untrue, because I couldn't have figured it out without using formations. You are a weird man, Leon of the frontiers. I will take that as a compliment, thank you. It was. You are welcome. You see, I sighed, placing my cup down, watching Elysian. I would have used more magic if I could. The problem is, I don't have enough CC. Well, none, to be honest. I guessed as much. I can't help you there, I'm sorry, but I can point you towards someone who can. The problem is, I don't know if his bloodline is still alive. His name was Ulbart Akashi, a magic family living within the kingdom of Skork, right next to us in the east. To the east, I shrugged, shaking my head. That would be problematic. You see, we were warring and expanding in that direction in the past decades. I don't think they would deal with us. I know, I heard it while Mikan was growing up. Right now they wouldn't, but they would finance a force that could turn into a thorn in the Empire's side. I won't become another's pawn. Okay, she shrugged, raising her hands after hearing my rock-solid reply and watching my unwavering expression. It is an option. If you want, I can explain it, but I will let you explore other avenues for now. Sooner or later, you will need CC. Formations are only true and complete when they are drawn by a mage, using them as a conduit. Don't worry, I do expect a shipment coming back home with the arrival of spring. I answered with a smile, and I couldn't help but feel that I was missing my crazy bandit bitch. Chapter 53, From Maid to Wife. Don't you want to come to bed? It is already late. A moment. I hummed, reading the paper in my hand, while Sasha leaned against me, wearing only a single piece of thin cloth. Ely gave me a whole dictionary that is an excellent help deciphering the books in my head. But you said most of it is useless until Yuri returns with CC. True, but it is still fascinating. I have already deconstructed multiple formations and linked them up with Merlin's magic circle. I almost have the complete language of magic down in my head, which I can finally compile, and then, what are you doing? I chuckled as I looked down, her head disappearing in my lap, beginning to move up and down without a word. Geez, I got it. This can wait, horny little firecracker. Who would be able to keep concentrating when being surprised like this? She was obviously in a fired-up mood, as she didn't stop for a moment, not even when I shot it down her throat, and she continued to bob her head up and down. Ah! The voice that interrupted us belonged to Luna. She wasn't peeping this time as she looked tired, wearing her pajamas and rubbing her sleepy eyes. Sorry, I was told to come and get Master. Told? By who? I asked while Sasha begrudgingly sat up, wiping her mouth, and I swear she was about to scold Luna for interrupting us. By General Oleg. He says that Uribicida has returned. Really? I yelled, standing up, letting my trousers fall to the ground, making Luna gulp and lick her lips while watching my glittering weapon that was still wet from Sasha's saliva. Go. Sasha chuckled and helped me dress up before she kissed my cheeks. I know you were waiting for this. We can continue it afterward. Sorry, I murmured and left the room, leaving the two behind. I shouldn't have come, Luna whispered while Sasha shrugged, fixing her open and loose robe. It's okay. I will surprise him when he gets back. Luna. Yes, mistress. She flinched, calling her with honorifics after hearing Sasha's commanding tone. Come here. She flinched, walking in, watching her mistress's dangerously mischievous smile and twinkling eyes. I have an idea, and you will help me do it. Where is she? I asked, arriving at the grounds and pulling my fur coat closer as it was still cold, especially at night. At the stables, with the cargo, my lord, Oleg saluted, leading me over, holding a torch in one hand that was being ravaged by the sharp, strong winds. Cargo, very good. How did she look? Injuries, losses? None that I could tell. She is tired, but she looks fine. When we came into the stables, I was surprised to see at least 24 boxes lined up in 4 stacks, being unloaded by Yuri's gang and my guards. Yo, finally back. Earlier than you expected, huh? She laughed, walking up to me, and I was once again too lax with my defenses as she hopped onto me, kissing me forcefully. Maybe because of what I did with Sasha a moment ago, I held a hold of her butt, returning it. And this time it was me who bit her lips. That's what I am talking about. Ah ha ha ha. That's it? I asked, surprised that she let me go. Yeah, I am barely awake as I didn't sleep for 2 days. I would love to fuck right here, right now, but the moment you bend me over, I will fall asleep. My head can't go horizontal or I faint. You are weird, Yuri beside her. I know. She giggled like a kid, walking me over to one of the boxes and opening it for me. I brought you 1,800 pieces of CC. They come in 4 sizes. The first batch is the size of a chicken egg, numbering 450. The second one is the size of a peanut, 700 pieces. I expected them to be small. I nodded, not disappointed. What about the remaining 650? 525 of them are CC strands. Strands? Yeah, I was surprised to see it, but they had a technique to shave them into thin strands that can be woven into fabric. I thought you would be interested in it, so… Damn, you are good. Nice, I laughed, grasping her butt and squeezing it, making her grin even wider than ever before. See, I am a reliable wife. The last 125 are around the size of a fist, but they are all rough ones. The rest are polished and uniformly cut. The final batch is raw and unprocessed. How interesting. I did expect that there would be an industry to work with it, or at least not underground. How did you manage to get so much? I thought you would return with a dozen or so, maybe 100. Robbing, killing, cheating, and lying, my love. First we got ourselves a supplier, and from there we bought a few ones, not cheaply, so it annoyed me. But it was part of the plan. Then my girls slept around with a bunch of rich fucks. Got ourselves some gold so we could buy another batch. Rinse and repeat. Wait, what are those rich fucks still alive? I asked, just now remembering who I was talking to. Yeah, they are. I think they think that the black market dealers are ripping them off and robbing them. Heh heh. They are too easy to play with, and nobody thinks a bunch of whores would be smart enough to play them. Bwahahaha. But I also feel tired from so much thinking. Yeah, I need to remind myself a lot too, not to let you outthink me. Okay, forget that I asked anything. I will trust you didn't bring the heat back with you. Relax, it was smooth sailing. We were invited to an auction when we finally counted as a reliable buyer. We bought a few more there and then robbed the fuckers who waltzed away with the prominent goods. She announced proudly, pointing at the boxes. You paid jack shit for these, my love. Instead it was I, your whore of a bitch, who brought you the riches with interest. Is your dick hard or not? Ahahahaha. Yeah, it is, I answered honestly, nodding with recognition. You outplayed my wildest imagination, Yuri. Nyahahaha, didn't I? Ah, I would ride you like a wild horse, but I already see 3 of you. I would sit on the wrong dick. Can we go and sleep? Sure, Oleg and the rest will unload the cargo. All of you get into the palace, eat, bathe, and sleep. The maids should be ready to take care of you. Don't frighten them. Got it? Sure. It is good that we already have maids. You have been busy, huh? I will tell you about it when you recover. A lot had happened. Great. See you soon. Keep your weapon hard for me. It was around an hour later when I returned to my room. The fire was out, and it seemed Sasha went to bed after I left to check on Yuri, so I tried to be as quiet as possible. Sneaking in and slipping into the bed was a success, but then again I was reminded of what was cut short. And I felt guilty. And horny. Okay, mostly horny. I slipped closer, hugging her naked body when I felt it. This wasn't Sasha. Now, what the… I whispered as my hands explored her body without stopping, even when I knew she was awake, moving around in my embrace. Soft, I whispered after getting a good feel of her tummy, her hips and thighs. Surprisingly soft. What are you doing in my bed, naked, my little Luna? Ha ha! How did you know? She asked, whispering, and I couldn't decide if she was embarrassed or on the verge of crying. Or both. I recognize my wife's body, even without seeing it, and yours is different. She has a narrower hip, and her bottom is smaller. Up top, you are similar, true. But still you are smooth between your legs. She has a tiny, soft, cute bush above it. What are you two on about? Sasha, did you really think I wouldn't notice it? I was curious. She giggled, slipping into bed from who knows where, hugging me from behind. I didn't know you knew me this well. It makes me happy. Of course I do. So, what's now? I didn't think that far. she whispered, making me laugh as I sat up and looked at the two girls in the dark lying before me without any clothes. Don't blame me afterward, Come, lie on her. I slapped Luna's thighs, making her roll over right on top of Sasha as both of them were breathing heavily. Ooh, both of you are leaking, eh? Perverts. First, I will deal with my cheeky little wife. With that, I slipped into her, making her moan happily, and I could hear Luna's slightly disappointed sigh. The order must be maintained, but I could get used to this. Very much so, especially because now two girls were moaning below me as Luna was moving her hips just the same, pressing herself against our bodies. Hold her! I grabbed Sasha's hand, pulling it into Luna's butt, making her massage it while we sandwiched her body from both sides. How soft. Mine is not like this, she murmured, enjoying the new discovery and more intense bonding with her friend. But that doesn't mean it's bad, I added with a grin, moving with a quick rhythm. I am not fat, Luna protested between two moans, which made us laugh as none of us said that. It's not being fat. You are just… Ah, Sasha moaned, trying to speak as I sped up. You are just better built for having a child, Nya. Her final scream came from the fact I emptied myself into her deepest part, washing her baby room with warm milk, satisfying her wild urges that previously were left alone. Ha. Me too, Luna whispered, seeing, hearing, and feeling my wife's pleasure, getting a tad jealous. If so, you will become my wife. I whispered into her ear, making her shudder, and with a slight nod, she looked at me over her shoulder, watching me with her violet eye. After I pulled myself out, I didn't hesitate, aimed, and pressed myself atop Luna. Awawawa, slowly. Ooh, she shouted, squirming, making Sasha hold her down with a hug. Does it hurt that bad? She asked, finding it strange. She is tight. Are you that nervous? Try to relax a little. I moaned, patting her butt, stopping only when I was halfway in, but already past her proof of virginity. It does. She sniffled and cried out whenever I made a move, fidgeting. Maybe we should stop. I shrugged, not wanting to hurt her, but then Luna became surprisingly assertive. No, do it all the way, properly. I can take it just as well. You said I was soft. It should work. Well, if you say so. Holding her waist, I decided to slip in entirely, pulling her on me and letting her scream while I did so. I'll help. Sasha joined in, beginning to kiss and lick her body, which did draw out some wild moans from Luna. And soon she was muted because my wife took the initiative to start kissing her, sealing her lips. After watching them a bit dumbfounded, I continued moving and stretching her out bit by bit. Holy hell, I murmured, watching them kiss like drunken girls at a rave party while I kept moving, and it didn't take long for me to climb to the top of the pleasure mountain once again. This was too much for me, as this type of scene would only happen to me in my wet dreams. After I finished inside Luna and her body went soft, sometimes spasming a little, grasping for air while lying on Sasha, I was about to pull out, but was stopped by my wife's hands. No, stay like that. I want to make sure. Sure of what? I asked, lying on both of them. If she doesn't get pregnant, then it's me. I nodded, but she shook her head. I will need a third one. Maybe Mikan or Yuri if nobody else works. Pfft. You are starting to sound like my mother, I grunted, not knowing whether to laugh or not. They say boys will want a wife who is like their mother. Huh. You are full of surprises, my love. At first I thought you would be a wild girl, but then it turns out you are a kind and warm wife, just like the fire in a home's fireplace. Then, here I am, listening to you. You truly are a fire mage, full of passion and unpredictability. I just want a family, she murmured, and I felt my heart skip a beat. Hearing her kind, innocent, and somewhat sad, yearning voice, I felt myself melting. I want to be a mom and give them what I never had. Even if they are not my kids. I couldn't help but lean close, kissing her, tasting Luna's saliva on her lips, getting hard again, and waking my second wife back up, who slipped into sleep previously. Now she couldn't help but wake back up with a yelp. Don't worry, my love. You will be a mother. Trust your hubby to do his best, okay? Chapter 55, Experimenting with CC. 1. No. This way it won't work. Maybe… Hmm. No. Don't you feel tired? Hmm. What time is it? I asked, getting jolted out of my thoughts and looking around. It was already dark, and only my multiple thick candles were burning around my desk, painting the room amber. I don't really know, but it has been dark for a long time, Sasha said while smiling, sitting on my lap, snuggling up to me with a yawn. Luna already went to bed. I was waiting for you. Sorry, I got swept up in this. With a chuckle and a stretch, I began stroking her head, looking around my table and watching the multiple dozen blueprints of a magic circle. The first test with Merlin was a half success. It didn't manage to restrain his or Sasha's mana when boosted by his magic. Instead, it became a physical restriction, tying up Luna multiple times. With changes in the runes, she was bound by tentacles, rough ropes, a long worm that made her shriek like a banshee, and finally by pure energy. Since then, I have been reworking it, simplifying the formula and replacing its inner workings to give it a different effect. One that I was looking for. Aren't these two opposing each other? She asked suddenly, pointing at two runes within the inner circle. I looked at it, realizing the problem of having two different runes for its energy intake, making it volatile. You are right. I totally missed that. Maybe I should sleep as I begin making more mistakes. Thanks. I am still learning it, but it is hard. Seeing me correct it and then kiss her, she giggled happily. Even with your textbooks, I can't draw up formations other than fire-based ones. But you can make them faster than me, without any mistakes like what I just did now. You are a natural when it comes to that type, so don't feel bad about being slow with the rest. What did Elysian call you? A freak? I think. I softly laughed. She can't comprehend the fact that I can understand the language of magic and break it down. Honestly, it isn't that different from a programming language. Now that I know the building blocks, I can write my own code. I am doing the same dances and routines as in my old life, searching for bugs and why the freaking code won't work, or work opposite to what I wanted. Why were there bugs in those programs? I don't get it, she whispered, feeling confused, and with a chuckle, I began explaining to her what I meant. Since I told her my story, expressing myself without holding back anything was much more manageable. With examples of my previous life, I could be more open and unafraid of voicing my thoughts before Sasha. I already told her what kind of engineer I was and what was required of us in the army on both the software and hardware sides. So in conclusion, I ended my monologue to her. I am writing the software right now. We can move on to the hardware when I have what I want, creating the cuffs for Miss Morningstar. When it's finished, I can finally move on to what I really wanted to do first. Which is upgrading our water and heating system. I will use up a good amount of CC after developing a stable heating formation. My goal is to ensure that every home has a button that when they press the water will turn hot. If it works, then I could start making a ton of metal pipes, laying them down all around the city, working them into the homes, and when winter comes, I can pump hot water through it, warming their homes up. Without fire. Wait, you told me about this once. What did you call it? Central heating? Yes? Exactly. Couldn't you do it how it was in your world? I could do it old-fashioned, but why should I when magic is right before me, here at my disposal? That is why I am working this hard on these formations. What I see now is that magic is limited, constrained. How? Because the spells are kept a secret, she asked, trying to follow and guess my thoughts. That is part of it, yes. What I mean is that magic is looked at as the gift of a selected few. It is not something the masses would ever understand, use, or work with. That is the sentiment I see instilled in the people. I want to change it. Yes, witches and wizards are unique people who can directly interact with, manipulate, and construct it. But they can create it in a way that would be usable by everyone. Through the implementation of CC, yes, as to how, that is one of the hurdles I will have to overcome, but my vision is clear for our future. My old world sounds magical to you because people had tools that made their lives much, much easier. Did they know how to make those tools? No, the same is true with magic, my dear. There will be a select few, like you, who can make those devices that will benefit everyone later on. Sooner or later, there will be others like me. There will be a time when normal people begin understanding magic, and they will be taught its rules. They will see the runes as the building blocks of spells and code their own version. It may be only me right now, but I can see a future where talented, magicless people could invent something I had never thought about. It does sound exciting. And wonderful, she whispered, leaning against me with closed eyes, smiling happily. It is what the gods wanted. Huh? Didn't you say you don't believe in them? I don't. I don't believe that they are gods. But after what happened and what I saw, I do believe in their existence. Listening to Elysian, they said that they are waiting for us up there. They can't be waiting for one or two mages to go there, no? They are waiting for us as a whole, as our species, not one or two individuals, but for all of us. The church, emperors, or whoever is in charge should have been clear about this and worked to lift us all up. Well, if they didn't do that, I will. In the following 2 days, I finally managed to create a formation that worked as I intended. When Merlin activated it, no tentacles appeared, and there were no weird side effects. He simply flinched and fell to his butt, feeling dizzy. The spell itself turned off the moment he activated it, meaning it cancelled itself out immediately. Now that it was done, there was the next step, implementing it into something tangible. It was time to get work done and fire up the smithies. It would also be my first test on implementing CC into something, so I visited the 2 Morning Stars under house arrest to ask the old witch if she wanted to help me. No. Elysian answered plainly, smiling at me, thinking she could finally get back at me for placing her under such harsh surveillance. I won't tell you anything until you lift this nonsense and ask for help properly. Ely, Mikan protested, looking at me apologetically, but I wasn't bothered by her answer. I see, cooperation is a no-go then. Are you leaving? I could hear her surprise when she saw me stand up, turning around to leave their room. Yes, I came to see if we can start working together. Seemingly not, so I won't force it. Send word if you change your mind. I expected it. I would have been glad if we could start anew and let her tell me how to integrate CC correctly, but if not, so be it. I have my own ideas anyway. Arriving at the workshop, Sasha, Merlin, Yuri, and multiple helping soldiers were already present, bringing along multiple boxes filled with different kinds of CC. Yo, boss, sup, I'm back in action. Yuri grinned, greeting me, but Sasha had already interrupted her before she could say another word. What should I do next? Good morning to you all too. Well, we will repeat what we did once already. The only difference is that the formation you will lay down, Sasha, is modified to the new parameters. See? She smiled, glancing at Yuri. I told you it won't be just throwing CC into the kiln and lighting it on fire. Tsk. They have been arguing since the start, Merlin whispered to me, looking tired. I gave up on trying to smooth things out. Sorry to leave you with them for so long. Good job keeping it together. I will take over from here, I whispered back, rubbing his head, making him smile happily. So are you two finished? Yes. They answered in unison, making them flinch. Good. What I learned of it is that CC is capable of storing magic within itself. It is not just able to contain it, but also to purify it and interact with the mana around us all. As I began explaining, Merlin was the first to go completely silent, looking at me without blinking, drinking up my words even though I had already given him a book about it. It seemed he liked it more when I was explaining it myself. Do you know who else does that? I asked, making Yuri shrug while Merlin's hand shot high up into the air. Mages, he answered me, waiting for my praise. Exactly. With a smile, I continued rubbing his head, making him giggle, and I couldn't help but notice how kindly Sasha was looking at us. I knew already what she was thinking about. So I determined that CC is the natural element that connects magic and the physical realm. It helps mages not just interact with magic more easily, but also will be what allows normal people to use magic. How? Asked not just Merlin, but everyone else who was present. Luckily, I am not the only one who studied it, but many others before me. Can you recall our previous tests? The moment I questioned them, Merlin went red in the face, trying not to look at me, as I still remember the poor kid had a little accident. Yes, Sasha answered me before the boy could get conscious about it. Even if the pieces weigh the same, their capabilities become different. The tiny ones broke apart very quickly. Ugh, the most I brought back are tiny. Yuri grimaced, looking at me, but I reassured her with a smile. Because we used them wrong. I continued, walking up to a prepared desk and rolling out a big parchment, pinning its corners down. This is the modified magic circle that Sasha will etch into the bottom of the kiln. It has 4 empty rune spots, Merlin murmured, noticing them in the design the moment he looked at it. Yes, that is where these will go. I chuckled while placing pieces of CC into the empty spots. The Empire has gone far in discovering their properties and utilities. First, CC, which wasn't used in spells yet, is natural. Although after going through a mage's hands, they are no longer that. Instead, they got synced to their magic. So a CC used by a mage to cast fire spells won't work with water spells, Merlin asked me at once, making me praise him once again. Good thinking. It would work, but it would degrade much, much faster and maybe even shatter like the ones we used. But Merlin is correct. That is why mages usually have multiple artifacts with them. Their main one is attuned to the spells they use the most, while they have secondary, tertiary, or quaternary artifacts ready for different types of spells. So if I ever got a staff, I should use it to cast the spells I used on the wall and not like levitating things? Sasha hummed, thinking and bobbing her head. Yep, next comes the size of the CC. Even though their weight remains the same, it still affects their efficiency. The smaller ones degrade quickly and will shatter eventually. If they are actively used. Actively, like in the hands of a mage. Yes, Merlin. Using them in formations extends their life as it is within a stable structure, always being put through the same amount of mana without fluctuations that are inherent to us humans. Emotions and a change in thoughts are sources to create small ripples and inconsistencies within a spell. Those are not present in a formation. You already lost me, Yuri groaned, playing with her hair, barely paying any attention. When a mage uses CC, it counts as active usage. When it is implemented in a working formation, it counts as passive. Simple. CC actively used degrades at least twice as fast. A well-optimized formation lets the same sized CC last longer. Is this better? No, but don't stop. The little pipsqueak looks like he can't wait to hear what comes next. She shrugged, poking the back of Merlin, but he simply ignored her, watching only me with starry eyes. What is also important is charging them up. I continued, this is where Merlin's natural affinity comes into play. The CC he will charge will be part of the formation, embedded into place. How do I do that? And why me? Why not Sasha? Slow down, you will bite your tongue speaking that quickly. I grinned, ruffling his hair. It has to be you, because your ability is to enhance others. Sasha and I designed this formation to be adjustable. After we finish, you will draw up this control formation on its outside. With that, I showed another one to Merlin, which was very similar and had 4 identical spots for CC. This one is designed to work in tandem with the main one. Putting 1 CC into it, charged by Sasha, will set it to level 1, and it goes up to level 4. The more you use, the more intense the flames will be. In theory. We will see after finishing it. How intense? As I said, we will see, I murmured, looking at Sasha, noticing that Yuri had seemingly fallen asleep, drooling with a bored expression. This is my first time doing something so complex. So, anything can go wrong. Here, Merlin. I smiled, pushing the small pieces of CC into his hand. While Sasha gets to draw, you have to sit down, holding them in your palm, and just circulate your mana while we work. That's it? Yep. Wait, Yuri snorted, coming back to reality. So she wasn't sleeping, just exaggerating things, huh? Won't the kiddo blow us up? Your queen is drawing a fire spell while he is using his magic. That sounds like an explosion waiting to happen. Merlin, I asked with confidence. No worries. He grinned, showing a thumbs up. I have been training a lot. I can control it. Promise. I trust you. Let's do it. I want to see the success of our labor. Chapter 56, Experimenting with CC. 2. When Sasha managed to finish the first formation, I made her place the charged CC into place, while Merlin engraved the smaller one on its outside, leaving small sockets for the 4 control pieces. After everything was ready, it was time for the live testing. Now, when I place the first one in, the formation inside should activate. Fingers crossed. With a last chuckle, I pushed it into the first slot, and the moment it was in, it flashed with a soft light. The inside of the workshop was quickly lit up by the color of orange flames and the sound of applause by everyone present. "You did it," Sasha laughed, hugging me, followed by Yuri and even Merlin, who joined them in performing it just to not be left out. I even felt my butt be pinched, and I was sure who did it. "No, we did it," I continued, ignoring the hand kneading my bum. I alone would not have been capable of achieving it. "How long will it last?" Merlin asked after letting me go, and he curiously watched the fire, burning without any visible fuel. "And this one doesn't need to be fed anything." "No, this one does not. That is why CC is so important." I nodded, answering him, "As how long? I have no concrete ideas, but by the numbers, the ones producing the flames should be good for at least half a year, depending on how it is used. The control CCs will probably need to be recharged monthly." I shrugged, knowing that it was the best I could do with the ones I had now. We watched the flames increase in intensity when the second one was slotted in, and when all 4 were in place, only Sasha could stand close to it, enduring the heat without issues, while the rest of us had to back away. "I think 4 is too much." She noted it with a smile, picking it out, reducing the strength of the fire so we could breathe again. "Yeah, I don't have any measuring tools, but I am pretty sure that could melt anything we are currently able to make. Keeping it on would most likely damage the forge itself." I nodded, still feeling like my face was under an infrared lamp. "Let's turn it off and call up the blacksmiths. It is time we get them to work and let them occupy their future workshop." It took me only a brief period to introduce them to how to work the formation, what to look out for, and demonstrate the quirks of this new type of forge. The tools that I previously tested, engraved with formation to make them able to lift any kind of weight, will also be reworked, getting their own slots so their abilities would be activated when needed. But that had to wait for now. "I have a task for all 6 of you," I exclaimed after finishing the introductions to the forge, presenting all of them with the same blueprint for a bracelet. "I want you to make your own version of this artifact." "Artifact," they whispered, because everyone knew it meant it would be something a mage would use, turning their excitement up a notch. "Yes, so its dimensions are important, but I leave the rest up to you, including what it's made of. The creator of the one I like the most will earn the title of being my forge master. I will tell you now that I am looking to establish different departments under me, and yours would be called the Forge Guild, reporting to the Minister of Mining. You would get your tasks from the ministry, but you could also take private orders from the people. Still, orders from the ministry will always take precedence over private requests." "My lord," Merlin interjected with a raised hand, but I wasn't angry, giving him a nod to continue. "If forging is going under the Minister of Mining, I should rename the official title. Should it be, Minister of Industry?" "I approve your idea." I answered him calmly, but I was impressed. Very much so. Honestly, I just can't put my finger on why, but Merlin felt like he was not right. At least he is on my side. "Thank you, my lord. Now, all 6 of you will be part of the council within the Forge Guild. You will operate and govern it as you see fit. This stays in place until it reduces your productivity. If it does, I will step in and reform the system, so don't go overboard." I warned them ahead of time before continuing. "You will have to raise future blacksmiths and employ your own assistants. All of you will get your own forge in time and be free to expand as you like, but this one will belong to the Forge Master and will be the first to be upgraded by any new invention." "Thank you, Lord," they all answered, beyond excited, and I could see the fire in their eyes to become the first to hold that title. "Don't thank me yet," I grinned, looking over them. "The Forge Master will be the guild's voice. Through him will I manifest my will. If something goes wrong, he will be the one responsible. Also, it is not a title for life. The position is always reserved for the most talented blacksmith, so if somebody better appears, he can challenge the current master, and I will preside over the competition. Every forge master can only be challenged once every 4 years to avoid it becoming a constant battle within the guild. I will enact more rules if necessary, but I hope you will work together and not against each other. I want healthy competition, but if it interferes with productivity and is detrimental to the city, I will step in and reform it. Still, I will give you as much freedom as possible initially. Betray my trust, and I will take it away. It is that simple. I really hoped that my warning was something they would remember and also take heed of. They would have to pass it down to the future generations that they will nurture. After finishing what I wanted, I left them to their work, giving them ample time to finish 6 cuffs from which one would snap onto Mikan's hand. Tea is coming. Your body is super nice. I could play with you for days. Please stop it, Miss Yuri Besida. Just call me Yuri, Mickey. Come on, we could have some fun. Aren't you bored? My name is not Mickey. It is Mikan, and I am fine. Thank you for your worry. I am still allowed to move around the palace. I do take strolls in the garden. Yeah, because I am tasked to keep an eye on you by my hubby. Otherwise, you would be stuck in here. I thought that Viscount Leon has Lady Sasha as his wife. And now that little bitch of a maid, too. Tusk, she climbed into his bed before me. What a cheat, taking advantage of him while I was away. It is not nice to speak about someone like this, especially behind their backs. Don't worry, I tell it to her too. She likes being called a bitch. I know those eyes. I see them constantly when I look in the mirror. Anyway, that is that this is this. He already kissed me, so it is as good as sealed. I will be his doggy soon enough. I know they are trying to get an heir, and neither of them has gotten pregnant yet. Soon it will be my turn. Bwahahaha. Mikan just didn't know what to do with Yuri and her mouth besides looking at the ground and feeling her face turn bright red. Stop talking. You are making her confused beyond reason and constantly disturbing me. Elysian's voice arrived suddenly as she manifested herself, looking greatly annoyed and frustrated. Oh, so you are the second Mickey, huh? I was told you are in there, but I have only smelled you so far. I have to tell you, your scent is great. Now, if I molest the original Mickey, does that count as a threesome? Would you feel it? Please no, Mikan cried out, making Elysian's figure flicker, her eyes twitching. I said stop it. Stop what? Yuri asked with a shrug, lazing on the sofa opposite the two. This is how I am, and I am fucking bored nannying you two. While I am stuck here, my hubby is fooling around with his 2 birdies. Unfair. I can help you get him, Elysian declared, surprising Mikan, turning back and forth between them, seeing Yuri's eyebrow being raised questioningly. He probably avoids you because of your looks. I can heal you, get you back what you have lost. All those injuries would be gone, and you would be whole again. You only need to make him see that I am not against him and start listening to what I say. That way, he can gain the power he wants and triumph over the Empire. This whole thing is nonsense and childish, she continued, taking Yuri's silence as a tacit agreement. When you are beautiful again and not this mangled mess, he will bed you at once. Are you serious? Yuri asked, her voice remaining even and calm, hiding her true thoughts, making it hard for Elysian to read. Why would I lie? I am one of the most powerful healers ever appearing on this continent. I brought back your prince from death. Isn't that enough of an evidence of what I am capable of? Yeah, I heard that. With a glance, she saw how Mikan once again lowered her head when it came to the topic, making Yuri shrug again. When the door opened, she was about to speak, and 2 guards came in to switch with her. The Lord is asking for you, they said in unison, bowing towards Yuri, who, with a grin, hopped up from the sofa. I will think about it, Mickey too. See ya gals later. How's the new mission? I asked, sipping tea served by Luna while I looked at Yuri from behind my table in my study. It was a beautiful sunset, as spring was coming nearer and nearer, the snow finally beginning to melt. Boring as fuck. No, fucking is not boring, so it is boring as watching others fuck while you are tied up. You never change, huh? I chuckled, seeing in my peripheral how Luna bit her lips. I want your honest opinions, Yuri. I sent you there to monitor the two because even though you play the idiot, You are smarter than you let it show, especially when it comes to reading people. If you praise me this much, I will get wet. Feel free to do so. So, what do you have for me? The big Mikan with the boobs that need to be kneaded daily is fine. She doesn't fake it. She is sorry about it. Even I feel sorry for her. I think she is going through a complete identity crisis and will break if this keeps up. How do you know? Luna asked, making Yuri smile, answering me directly, not looking at her. I went through the same as a kid and broke under it. Luckily, I got better, as you can see. She is hiding it, but she exists in an awful place right now. I don't think she would object if you sentence her to death. That bad, huh? I asked, rubbing my temple. I did feel sorry for Mikan, but not for Elysienne. Yep, now the other Mikan, the skinny one. Bitch. With a big B, I ain't trusting that whore of a manipulator. I knew a girl like that, pimping me out. She had honey on her lips, but it was for masking the taste of venom. Fuck her. I see, thank you. The moment the cuffs are ready, I will have a talk with Mikan. Now I am sure of what I will do. You do know, Yuri warned me, that it will close a door forever. Bitches like her won't forgive you if you lock her up. I know it would have been nice to have someone who could heal my people if sickness struck, but we would have to do it without her. I am happy to make allies and work together with others, but I won't go out of my way to make it happen. And if they are more of a threat than a friend, I will not hesitate to eliminate them. I said with a certain finality in my voice, standing up and turning towards my window, watching the sunset. What about me? You are a friend, no? I smiled, looking back at her over my shoulders, making Yuri grin. And what about my body? Would you rail me here on the table if I wasn't disfigured? Hey! Luna yelled, holding her mouth shut with both hands, snapping her head back and forth between us, and I knew she was eager to run away and tell Sasha about it. I don't care about looks, Yuri. I care about the person within the body. Give it a few years, I will turn old just as anyone else. Looks are fleeting things and will rot away. I can deal with that, but not with a rotting personality. That makes my stomach turn. So, you would rail me as I am? She asked after a long pause, making me chuckle, but I didn't answer her. Ah ha ha ha, I take it as a yes. Ha. Okay, I won't tease you. I know I need the first pussy's permission foremost to get into your pants. Her name is Sasha, and she is your queen. Luna harumphed, unable to hold it back any longer, making Yuri grin at her. Okay, second pussy. Calm down. It's all fine. We are all pussy sisters here. I will be the third soon enough. Relax. Humph. No way. Girls, enough. I turned around with a sigh, looking at them. Play nicely with each other, okay? Or do I need to tell Sasha to keep you two in check? It seemed that my warning worked, which was nice to see. While Luna didn't want to cause trouble for her new best friend, Yuri didn't want to give Sasha any opportunities to go against her. Who would have thought that Sasha would turn out to be a perfect matriarch, huh? Chapter 57, The First Artifact. While I was waiting for the blacksmiths to create the cuffs, I began designing what I wanted to do first, the water treatment appliance and its follow-ups. The formation to clean the water was already ready and modified to take in CC. I just needed to create the blueprint for it to be made. With the idea of installing a heating system in my head, it has become my top priority to finish. Then I can use the filtered water to recirculate it into the heating system, while the remaining waste will be sent to be composted and either used by us or traded away. As to who? Well, that will be my mother's or her student's job to figure out. That looks really complex, Master, Luna whispered, not wanting to disturb me, but she couldn't hold it back while watching the multiple pages worth of drawings. It is, yet not. It is like playing Lego or the game pipes. I just need to design it well. I will probably build a huge purifying castellum at the end, which will have the formation installed within. Then we can collect the sewage in it, and from there, clean water will be redirected to multiple others. The first will have to be accessible for people to regularly maintain and clean out the separated waste. Who will work it? It doesn't sound nice. It isn't, but there are always people who are, well, limited. I shrugged, remembering Merlin's previous report. It is a small percentage, but we still have around 2 to 3% of the population who can barely be considered literate. I won't let people who can't and won't work have their homes for free. I am not a charity. Want to live here? Put effort into it? Refuse to do so. I will relocate them. Won't they be living on the streets then, or start resisting you? Let them try. I won't stand still and watch my city be ruined. I am not a charity, nor am I an idealist. I am banking on the fact that the people built this place and they will want to protect it as theirs. Those who are slacking off or are disruptive will be ejected by them naturally, so there should not be much opposition. If there is, I will use force to remove said individuals. I am building this place so we all can enjoy life together. Anyone who is disrupting that goal will be dealt with without mercy. I am not really versed in things like this, Master, but later on people will forget it. Just look at the capital city. It could be the case, yes. But that is going to be the problem of the people of that time to solve. I can't do everything. I am no god. That is true, she giggled, making me reach out and pinch her buttocks. Cheeky. Anyway, I am concentrating on the now and trying to do my best. I am not a born leader, a social engineer, or someone versed in psychology. I will do what I feel is right and logical and see what comes out of it. I understood none of that, Master. No matter. What you need to understand is that the people here lived in what I would call poverty. You called this place a land of barbarians, and in a sense, you weren't wrong. With the changes I brought in, a new way of life opened up for them. One that they didn't think about before. I want them to understand this and instill the thought in them that they must protect it. It is part of the classes Merlin is holding to the kids, teaching them that the way we live here is superior and they ought to value, nurture and defend it. Isn't that indoctrination, Master? Oh, I smiled, surprised she knew about that word. It is. If you want to look at it like that, you're welcome to do so. But it is also the truth. Does it really matter if it results in the fact we have a stable, clean city with its people working together in harmony and can enjoy their lives? I suppose not, she murmured, thinking hard, playing with her hair in the process. I do like the idea of living leisurely and happily. We got really far from talking about my blueprints, huh? I laughed, happy to see she didn't worry about voicing her opinions. Because that is way too abstract for me, Master. I can only see lines and squiggly numbers that make no sense. And those numbers do give me a headache because I will need a lot of iron to make the pipings. Still, the mines are being constantly deepened and worked on. With the smithies firing up, work can be done. The start is slow, but it will slowly kickstart the industry. I may even need to establish a mining guild the same way. I'm finished. Sasha's voice interrupted us as she hurriedly entered my study with a beaming smile, binging in a fat stack of parchments and laying them before me. Oh, let me see. I sat up quickly, looking them over, praising her multiple times. It was the best choice to leave the design of this spell to the #1 fire mage I know. Her innate talent showed itself as I could see a complex magic formation before me, utilizing no less than 20 pieces of CC. In turn, it will be highly configurable and act as the primary system, responsible for heating the water and bringing warmth to all the houses in the winter. Looking at it, it was a very thought-out model as one CC was bigger than the rest, being its key, so to speak. Without it, the formation would be dormant, so I would only need to put it in place at the start of winter, conserving its integrity and power during the warm months. I also made a smaller version, which we can add to the aqueduct at set intervals. It will help prevent water from freezing in the winter. She continued explaining in high spirits, almost jumping from one foot to another. Great. This winter was especially harsh. I already got reports of multiple pipe failures that will need to be replaced now that the snow has begun melting. We will insert them then. Nice job, my future archmage. Arch what? Luna asked, looking back and forth between us. It will be Sasha's second title, besides being my queen. She will lead all the witches and wizards under me. You expect more? They asked me simultaneously. Of course. I would be disappointed if that doesn't happen. 5 days after I had given the task to the blacksmiths to create my very first artifact, I was notified by the Minister of Industry that they had finished. Earlier than I expected. I nodded while eating my breakfast, even inviting Paxson to join us. That is a good sign. I'd like you to bring the finished products to me, and I will test them myself. When I have chosen the one I like the most, I will call upon you and announce the name of the first Forge Master. When Paxson delivered them to us, I took them to our usual test field, close to the city. I was already thinking I should wall it off, cleat it up, and create a proper testing zone guarded by my soldiers. It could be done soon as it was already getting warmer, and we were blessed with a sunny day. It meant that the temperature finally climbed above 0°C, slowly making the snow around us begin to melt. After arriving at the spot and unboxing all of them, I couldn't help but examine them individually, astonished at their craftsmanship. I won't lie, I expected a much rougher result. They are used to creating small stuff, no? What else would you need here? Luna asked, shrugging, which in turn made me smile. Exactly, they mostly made horseshoes, tools for the homes and everyday use, but this also proves something else for me. That is, Yuri hummed curiously. She was also present for this testing round, and it was Sasha who answered her, not me. They take pride in their profession. Wouldn't you want to give your all when you get the chance? Seeing all of them, it is clear that they were happy to be given something different. It was finally not just a boring, let's make another pan, instead it turned into, let's do our best for their king. Exactly. Merlin nodded happily, agreeing with everything Sasha was saying, and I saw him making notes, probably to include it in his lessons. I understand. Maybe? Yuri shrugged, scratching her head, watching me finish examining the bracelets and placing them on a table. Tusk, you gave them gold? One of them was brave enough to go and ask for it. When Paxson relayed the request to me, he was sweating like crazy. Merlin giggled happily. I gave the authorization. It wasn't much anyway, and if it doesn't get chosen, we will just melt it back. You let them have it? Just like that? Luna gawked because, for her, it was unbelievable that a kid, even if he was the Prime Minister, would make a decision like that without consulting with me. Why not? Merlin is my Prime Minister. I trust him to make such decisions. This is why I chose him to take up the role. I can't and won't micromanage everything. Heh heh heh. With a happy laugh, Merlin was blushing and wiggling back and forth, enjoying my praise just as much as Sasha's hand on his head, ruffling his hair with affection. Back to the products. I see they all followed the blueprints and the dimensions are down to the letter, but their design is unique. This one looks really nice, Yuri exclaimed, picking up the one that was made out of gold, of course. I am not surprised you took that, but that is not the one I am most satisfied with. Oh, which one then? Merlin and Luna asked at once, while I turned towards Sasha, watching if she had guessed it yet. This one? When her finger pointed to one that was made out of iron, it made me smile because she guessed it right away. You know me best. It may look simple at first glance, but it is not. Look at its inside. The one who made this used wood, which is then cushioned and covered with leather. Hold it, touch it, and you will feel that the inside of it is soft. Then he worked the iron around it, on the outside surface, attached to the wood. The iron is there to be two things: decoration and what holds the CC in place. The one who made this went beyond the task. Because it's fancy, Yuri asked again, but I shook my head. He understood the task. He did not only look at the blueprint and begin blindly following the instructions. He used his brain. Yes, the others' works are great and masterful too. Just look at how they formed and decorated them, or found the solution to make the socket for the CC work. It is all unique, but this one is more than that. He realized it is to go on a person's hand, and for that it needs to be comfortable, especially if it is going to be worn for an extended period of time. I never disclosed this in my blueprint, yet this one gets it. I like it the most. So why test the rest? Because, I turned towards Luna, who asked the question, I don't know if the way an artifact is made influences its capabilities or not. My guess is not, but I need to be sure. Your turn, Sasha. She nodded happily as she took out a thin, needle-like rod and began concentrating on it. A moment later, it quickly turned scarlet, and she began using it as a pencil, drawing up the magic formation and engraving it onto all of them. What's that? Merlin asked, wiggling his eyebrows, feeling the strangeness emanating from it. CC, I answered calmly, watching Sasha work. I made it from the thin strands Yuri brought back and spun a few together. As you can see, it becomes the perfect engraving tool with Sasha's magic. Don't worry, I will make one for you too. When she was finally done, it was Merlin's turn as we put them one by one onto his wrist. My first theory was quickly confirmed as the bracelet's design or materials had zero impact on its effects. What mattered was the formation and the CC. I can't, Merlin said while gasping, trying his hardest to summon his powers. The moment I call for it, I feel like I'm being pinched, and then it goes away. Even if you try your hardest? Yes. Perfect. But, Yuri chimed in, sounding concerned, couldn't she simply take it off? Mikan could. I nodded, forming a small smile. And we will see if she will or not. This is not just for Elysian, but for Mikan too. If she can wear it for me, I can trust her. If she can't, she is all yours. Oh, I won't say no to that offer. I like her body. I couldn't help but feel the hair stand on my arm after I saw Yuri's smile and the sharp light in her eyes for a brief moment. Well, I really hope, for Mikan's sake, she won't make the wrong choice when I visit her tomorrow. Chapter 58, Mikan's Choice. With the artifact chosen, I visited Mikan the following day, with Sasha accompanying me. Entering her room, she looked worse for wear, her eyes having big black bags under them, in deep contrast with the radiance given off by her ancestors' magic. Yuri was right, she was not in a good place mentally. Even I could tell that looking at her. "Ah, I didn't know you were coming," she murmured, trying to fix her loose robes as she spent all her time cooped up in her room, going out less and less. I was expecting Elysian to show up and say something, but she remained silent. That is good too. Maybe she thinks I am finally here to negotiate or tell her I was wrong and ask for more knowledge. What she miscalculated initially was that she had already given me everything I needed. I had all I required in my head, I just had to sort them out, which was the slow and challenging part. She had simply given me the master key and saved me the time of lockpicking every book I memorized for their knowledge. "No worries, please, sit." I gestured towards the couch while we sat opposite her, having the small, empty coffee table between us. "Are you here to—" She looked at us, but I shook my head with a smile. "No, we came to speak with you." "I don't think I can persuade her, young Viscount." She started immediately, but I raised a hand to stop her. "I don't need to. I am not here to talk with a fragment of the past, but to speak with you, Miss Morningstar, about what you want to do in the future." "I don't think I understand." "We already talked about it once, but I want you to join this city. I am willing to build you a temple where you can live and also teach about the 6 gods." "But you also said that people here are not really fond of the church." "I learned what happened and why, so I can understand it. What they did was not how it should be." "I didn't say it would be easy. Still, I would let you do it. I won't deny it to those who want to practice it, as it has been around for over 3,000 years. But there would be changes." "Such as?" she asked, and I could see genuine interest and drive in her once again. I knew that faith meant a lot to her, and probably it remained the only thing she still considered her own after learning her magic was fake. "You will have to rewrite it. You must go through all the lore you know and would later teach and rework it. I will allow you to preach if you remove every meddling in it caused by the Empire. I want you to identify all the modifications that point towards the Empire and its bloodline being special and omit them from the texts. Fully, without exceptions." "I see. Should I replace them with you?" "No." I answered her question and ignored the slight snark underlying it, as it was a logical conclusion on her part. I want it to be free from politics. It should be separated from the state wholly. The church will have no power and no associations with it. You can preach freely, but you can't convert. The people will decide what to believe. What I want you to teach them are morals, and what seems to be the core value within the 6 gods' words. The expectation that we can reach their realm one day. Not the chosen ones, not the select few, but we as a collective. Do you understand me?" I think," she mumbled, feeling her face flushed a little as she became visibly excited again. I will establish a new department that will be independent but part of the ministry. You will be the new head of the church and integrate into my society. Your only role will be to provide culture and enrich it for my people, and not to control, shackle, or order them around. If I learned one thing about humans, it is that faith can't be beaten. Sooner or later, people will turn to something they can worship, so it is best if I get a hold of it early. I will need a lot of time to redo everything, young Viscount, but I think I can do it. Please let me do it. I am not afraid of challenges, and the teachings of the Six are valuable. It tells us the indomitable spirit of the people and that heaven is within our reach. I wanted to tell her that those six probably talked about what I witnessed when I died, but it was too late to start explaining. There is only one problem. Sasha spoke up, taking it over from me. It was time to talk about magic, so it was her time to act as the leader of all mages under my rule. Ah, yes. Mikan shuddered, her previous fire quickly extinguished, going back into a lethargic mood, lowering her head. It is not an unsolvable problem. With that, she took out the chosen bracelet and placed it on the table. It was already set up completely and only had to be put on Mikan's wrist to activate it. Watching her face, she clearly didn't recognize it, but as she leaned forward, almost touching it, we heard Elysian's voice, commandingly making her hand stop. "Don't you dare touch it. Mikan, it's a trap." "Trap?" I laughed, while Sasha only smiled, watching as the old spirit took up a visible form, filling the room with her golden mist and the scent of vanilla. "It is not," Sasha continued, ignoring Elysian, speaking directly to Mikan. "This device here is something that will neutralize magic. Wearing it, you will no longer feel the interference or be able to try and influence magic. Elysian Morningstar would have her peace at last." "You think it would work on me?" She snorted, her anger making the rolling mist churn around us. "I am Morningstar. I am the top witch of Ishilia, made our armies invincible, and have the blood of the gods within me. Do you think you can contain the powers of the goddess Orsi? Many tried it, but none managed to do so. I know of this trivial formation you have on it. Even if you modified it, my powers will break it." "Then why are you speaking so much? Why sound so afraid?" asked Sasha, making me chuckle. I liked it when her fire showed its wild side. "We don't trust you, but we do trust Mikan. You have been living within her without telling her. You have the power to help her, yet you have remained silent for more than 2 decades. You let her indulge in fantasies, and even now, when she is down, you don't help her up. What kind of witch are you? Is this how you repay saving your pathetic lover boy? Weren't you begging me like a snotty kid to save him? Wench, I would spit on you if I could." "Elysian," Mikan yelled, looking surprisingly angry all of a sudden. "Stop it." "Shut up, do not interfere." She snapped back at her, looking down on Mikan with disgust. "So this is the true Elysian, huh? The little manipulator, albeit not a good one, it seems. I told you to go and seduce him with your body." "You!" Mikan flared up at once, heaving heavily, and maybe it was the first time I saw her genuinely angry. "I know full well why you saved me," I interjected before the two could continue. "You saw me, saw this place, and more importantly, saw Sasha. You immediately knew you could use us in your revenge plot. Not because she begged you, not because you grew a heart. No, it was because you could use us. You think you know?" She laughed, sneering at me before glancing at Sasha. "You know nothing, you powerless barbarian. You don't even know what you are or what she is, do you? Ha! Don't try to speak like a sage, because you are nothing but a cockroach with a bit of a bigger head. Your knowledge and power are nothing compared to mine." Now that was interesting. She was right. She did let something slip that I did not know about. I wanted to ask more, but that was an impossibility by now. We have gone too far, and we have long passed the sign of no return. "I've had enough," Mikan shouted, her chest heaving up and down. Without any more questions, she grabbed the bracelet and put it on without further hesitation. Elysian wanted to say something, but she was instantly dispelled, gone like a mirage as all the mist around the room whirled, withdrawing into Mikan's body at once. Silence, she whispered, looking around, blinking her silver eyes that slowly turned golden, making me raise an eyebrow. Was this an effect of Elysian's presence being suppressed, or the bracelet's doing? I can't feel her, I mean Elysian's powers. It is gone. It isn't, Sasha answered, standing up, walking over and gently holding her hand. She is just being suppressed. She is the magic within you, and now she is trapped, unable to break through her cage. But she said, no matter what she said, she was lying, I interjected, leaning back and watching them. She is no longer whole, but only a being of mana. If she would be that powerful, why could you influence her? Why would she be disturbed by you? Why would her mana leak out from within you? She had a big mouth to mask the fact she wasn't as powerful as she tried to present herself. Mykan Morningstar, I said, standing up, fixing my clothes. Now it is finally only you. Being magicless is not bad. You can do just as much as any witch, maybe even more. As a priestess, she murmured, rubbing the bracelet on her wrist that would now be an accessory she would have to wear constantly. I want to try. I want to do what you presented, Lord Leon. I am willing to be a priestess and reform the faith which is infested by the Empire's ideals, by people like my ancestor. I am glad to hear it. I will do my best. She bowed, holding her hands between her breasts. Elysian Morningstar said that she has the blood of the goddess Orsi, which is a blatant lie. Blasphemy. Okay, I chuckled, holding her shoulders, making her raise back up. Don't need to go inquisitorial on me right from the get-go. What? She blushed, not understanding it. Nothing, I grinned, letting her go. For the next week, I will keep up the surveillance on you, so please endure Yuri's presence for a little more. You will be free to move around after everything is in order and no sign of Elysian is detected within or around you. I thank you for the chance, she repeated again, bowing multiple times towards me, then to Sasha. I will work hard. Until the temple is built, you will live with us in the palace, and then you can move into your new home. I will consult with you when designing the temple, but I will let you rest for now. I know what happened is sudden and was a lot, so reorganize your thoughts, Priestess Mykan. Then I will introduce you to the rest of the ministers when my next meeting arrives. Are you thinking about what she said? Sasha asked me later that night as we were lying in bed. Luna was already asleep beside us with a satisfied, silly smile, while Sasha let her head rest on my chest. That too, I answered, stroking her hair, and about how long that little cuff of ours will hold out. I hope it will last long, but I will now know what to look for. Did you notice that her eyes turned golden after Elysian was suppressed? I did. The magic aura around her was gone in a snap. I could feel it fail. It was weird. Brr. I am glad I don't need to wear one of those. I will have to get some history books. She said she knows something about me and you, which makes me feel weird. I think she was simply trying to play around to make us not go through with it. Or she felt you were not like anyone else when she brought you back. Maybe. I nodded, as it did sound highly possible. Whatever it wasn't imperative. Or was it? Why do I feel like this then? Why can't I get it out of my head? Chapter 59. Growing Retinue. When I called up the ministers for the meeting, I was happy to see that this time around, they were less nervous than before. Well, at least until they realized more people were present than before, including all the blacksmiths. Before I hear the reports and your plans for the upcoming year, I must start with some important announcements. Please sit. First, as you already know, Sasha is my wife. I began while smiling as she stood beside me, looking embarrassed for the first time in a long time. More than that, from now on, I officially establish our own department of magic, which she will be the head of, titled The First of Magic, the Archmage. Congratulations, the rest answered at once, clapping, the loudest being Merlin, grinning from ear to ear. From this point onward, anything magical is under her jurisdiction, and in the future, if more mages are born in our territory, they will learn under her supervision. Next, let me introduce Luna to all of you. I would have laughed if not for not wanting to tease her too much. She was blushing and being so stiff she almost fell forward as she stepped out, bowing. She was not saying anything, and after the others' greetings, she backed off next to my throne as soon as possible. From now on, she is my second wife. That's it. Of course, this simple sentiment was greeted with another wave of applause, including Sasha, who smiled at her encouragingly. Next to introduce is Yura Besida, who will be part of the army, serving under Oleg. I continued as the others didn't need to know she would be someone who would run my Black Ops troops in the future. Her role will be to oversee the palace's security. And be the third wife, she added, making the others freeze after she brazenly interrupted me. I simply shrugged, glancing at Sasha, who nodded back, making me continue while smiling. Concubine, at best. Good enough, wahaha. With a hearty laugh, she sat back down, already satisfied with everything, nodding at the weak claps and uncertain congratulations. I assume all of you have received the notification from Merlin about my plans. Minister Renard, any opinions? I asked, looking at the man who had not much to report in our first council meeting. He was the fellow who headed the Ministry of Architecture. Previously, he only had the building of the first walls on his plate. But this was about to change. We received the plans, your lordship. He stood up, a bit nervous, bowing his balding head towards me. He was close to his 40s, at least that was what I guessed at first glance, but it could be the result of his previous, more challenging life. I already had my assistants mark out the place where we can build a temple. But, I asked, encouraging him to continue, is this a good idea? He asked, glancing at Meekan, who was standing next to the long table. She had yet to join them as part of my ministers, not until I officially announced it. Merlin? I turned my head towards the boy who was already ready. As you asked, my lord, I conducted an anonymous survey in school. 44% of the answers stated that they wouldn't mind. Of course, this can't represent everybody, but I not only asked the kids but sent home a query so their extended families could participate in it. It was also a test to see how they fare. Luckily, it seems their education worked as they didn't forget to read and write. Thank you. Well, Minister Renard, does that answer your question? Yes, my lord, and I'm sorry for posing the question. He bowed deeply towards me. Don't be. I approve of it. I commend you for it. I expect you all to voice your concerns. You have been selected to lead my different departments and are responsible for them. Never be afraid to question our decisions in these meetings to find the optimum. That is the goal of why I hold these. Please go ahead and submit a report of what it would take to build the temple. Merlin will review and finalize it. Yes, my lord? This also takes us to my next announcement. Let me introduce you to Priestess Meekan, the new head of the church from now on. As I stated in my missive, she will be part of our culture. Not just our home, but this whole land follows the 6 gods and their legend. I agree that what the previous church did was unacceptable. It is time that their teachings return to their original form, what it was thousands of years ago, free of distortions. Priestess Meekan will help us with that. Give her a chance to show what the 6 gods meant by their words when they visited us. Thank you, your lordship, and thank you, ministers. She bowed deeply before taking her place at the table, and I exchanged a quick glance with Sasha. I could see the smile on her face as she knew full well that until a few months ago, I didn't believe in them at all. Oh well, things can change, no? Now last but not least, my blacksmiths, please, step forward. The moment I mentioned it, they visibly shivered, coming forward, standing between me and the ministers at the table. I reviewed all of your works, and each and every one of them was perfect in their own way. But there is only one person who can earn the title of Forge Master. Kraus Lithanen. Yes, my lord. He stepped forward, shaking like someone who had a high fever. He was well built, relatively young, maybe only in his early 20s, with long blonde hair and a growing goatee. I watched as his blue eyes filled with excitement and tears, which in turn made me smile. From this day forward, you are the first of the blacksmiths in my domain. Hence, your title shall be Forge Master Kraus, Minister Paxson. Yes, my lord. Record him down as the first of the Forge Masters and make a public announcement. From now on, you will present my orders to the Forge Master, who then will be responsible for completing the directives. I hear and obey, my lord, they both said, bowing to me while I looked at the rest of the blacksmiths, encouraging them with a few words. Now there are multiple things we have to work on, so expect your forges to be running hot from now on. I will need a lot of iron to be processed, so hire your staff well and let us improve the city together. Ultimately, it was my longest meeting yet, but I was satisfied with the results. While half of the people will continue building the walls, the other half will start working on the temple. While they were doing that, I sent my blueprints to Paxson so he could deal with it. It was also a test to see how he managed and worked together with my new forge master and the blacksmiths. What they had to do was to produce the future pipes of the central heating system, a relatively easy job, but the quantity was what made it hard. The true challenge fell onto the shoulders of Kraus as I sent down a copy of the purifying castellum that was yet to be built. He had to design a system that could be controlled from the outside, sealing it so people could go in and clean out the waste before it continued operating. It was a challenging job, mainly because he would have to work in tandem with the builders who would assemble and implement the mechanisms. It will be the first big test of how well my people can work together. When it's done, I will have to slowly pass down the new knowledge about artifacts to the Forge Master. I thought to myself, it was my goal to make it so that only those who hold the title will have the know-how to work with CC and its properties. Maybe even teach them how to apply magic formations. We will see. You wanted to see me, I asked, stretching as I sat down with my mother. I wasn't alone because Sasha followed me, bowing towards her while Luna prepared tea for us. Even though Luna was now tasked with beginning training those who signed up to become maids in the palace when important guests came, she would not let anyone else do this but her. I did. My mother nodded with a serious look. First, I will start with the unimportant news. After teaching a few of your people, I deem that you have 3 families in this city with the perfect talent to become good merchants. I will train them personally and present you with a trading union built up like the one under Elliot's control. After a thorough investigation, I only trusted them to conduct tradings between territories as the rest failed to keep their mouths shut. If any of the other families venture out and begin trading, they would let things slip. And that would be catastrophic. Geez, and those are supposed to be unimportant news. I giggled, shaking my head. This was great news. I direly need that. Simply trading with my uncle's territory is insufficient. I need to expand on it. Carefully, yes, but I hope I can someday establish trading with other countries too. But I don't want to rush ahead of myself. Yes, it is not that big of a deal. The rest whom I taught this winter are good enough to begin trading within the territory, with the villages and whatnot. Small businesses. They are still important, but I don't want to, and I won't supervise them for sure. For now, I sent them on a training mission. They are heading to your father to carry some beast meat over to your soldiers. So beasts did come, I hummed, letting Luna refill my cup. After you left, yes, more than once, but your minds did the job. Great work, Sasha. I hope we can have more of those by next winter. Yes, I will work hard to deliver them. She nodded with a happy smile, but it quickly disappeared after hearing my mother's follow-up words. Now, to the important thing. Where is my grandson? Again. I shrugged, but she wasn't having it. We almost lost you this winter. Her voice was trembling, and although loud, it was also weak. I told her many times that it wasn't her fault. Even Mikan stepped forth and talked with her, but still she was mortified when she first heard what had happened. Ha! Look. I raised my hands, not wanting to get into the topic again as I lived through it. Let's leave it behind already. It looks like the problem lies not with Sasha or Luna. It's me. Neither of them is pregnant yet. So you inherited my bane, she whispered, slumping back, looking dejected, nervously fiddling with her thumbs. Is it frequent? I mean, were there relatives of mine who had this issue? Mom? Not always. A few times, yes. But before me, it was my great-great-grandfather, who only had one son. Sometimes it happens. But he did have one, Yes, a late one, but yeah, he did. Then all is good. I smiled, trying to appease not just her, but Sasha too. The only one who was unbothered by it was Luna. Although she didn't protest against being cream-peed every night, she also didn't care if she was pregnant or not. I think she enjoyed the process more than she thought about what the end result would be. Sooner or later it will happen. You stressing about it won't make it occur sooner. I am still young, Mother. It will happen. I will make sure of it. Sasha nodded, standing up and sitting beside her, holding her hands, patting them warmly. My poor girl, my mother whispered, and soon they were hugging like sisters, talking about it like I wasn't there, discussing supposed ointments or positions that may help. At least you are fine with it, I mumbled, leaning my head back and watching Luna stand behind me. It's okay. I was taught when I was being prepared to be a maid how to expect and deal with bringing a bastard into the world. I am completely ready if it happens. If not, that is good too. What bastard? I turned around, flicking her forehead, making her moan cutely. Want me to spank you or something? Our kid would be eligible for the throne. Really? She flinched, not thinking about it, and seemingly it just registered in her brain at that moment. Duh. I wasn't playing with words when I named you as a wife, but how things stand now, it is unlikely that I will have 100 kids. 100! Everyone shouted, looking at me. Luna was distraught and pale, while Sasha was trying to count how that would be possible. While my mother, her eyes were burning with zeal. Chapter 60, People's Future. From snow to rain, that would summarize how spring worked in here. I was already thinking I should introduce a new calendar, but with everything going on, it was one of the least noteworthy things right now. The Empire, and I guess the rest of the world, split the year into two segments: dawn of the year and dusk of the year. In a few weeks, we will be fully in the dawn and be out of this cold and wet season. Oh well, I shrugged, sipping my coffee while I stood before the window of my study, watching the grey skies and the heavy rain that had been pouring down without stopping for the past 3 days. The drainage is at least being washed out. That was when knocking came, and Luna entered, staying next to the door. The Forge Master has arrived at the palace. He asks for a meeting with you, Leon. That is unexpected. Directly to me and not to Paxson. Did something happen? I murmured, and Luna was unsure, but she still continued. He brought along multiple iron things, like the stone tablets Sasha makes. She is there with him, inspecting them, and she looks really excited. I think whatever it is, she really likes it. Oh, I know what it is. I snapped my fingers, surprised as I thought it would be pushed back with how I dumped the task of making iron pipes onto them. Arriving at the throne room, Sasha had already laid out the tablets on the table, and there was a pile of tiny metal blocks she was rummaging through to put them on and secure them in a place like playing with a giant puzzle. I wasn't wrong. It was the finished metal movable type I was waiting for. I almost forgot about it. Forge Master Kraus, I laughed, greeting him, watching as he saluted and bowed towards me. My lord, I apologize for my intrusion. I was just too excited and immediately came when I finally finished it. It's fine, let me see. I walked close, watching my wife immersed in her little puzzle game until she finally put together a whole page's worth of text. Then all this needs to be inked up and it can print out a page multiple times. I see, she murmured, nodding her head, finally noticing me. Exactly, it would make creating books extra fast and make them uniform. You no longer need to try and read someone's lousy handwriting, and there won't be 2 different versions of the same book. Of course, I knew this was already happening in other parts of the Empire, but here, not a chance. No wonder Luna was wholly uninterested in it, and didn't really bother with its importance. It was normal for her to find printed books. My lord, Kraus continued, looking excited, I finally understood it after studying the plans for the purifiers. It gave me inspiration on what I will need to make there. This interchangeability will be very useful there, especially for maintaining the magic formation. Oh, now this was even better. Did he understand the formation? Continue. I am interested in what you understood from it. I know no magic, my lord. I can't tell what that sorcery within the blueprints means, but I realized it has an interchangeable part. I am already in the work of creating a way for whatever it is. It could be swapped out easily and quickly. Yes, that place is for the CC. That is going to be its energy source. CC, he repeated, unsure of it. He is good. Then I should not wait. It is a precious resource, my Forge Master. It is something that only mages can use. I see. It is that rock that has been inserted into our creations, no? The thing on Priestess Mycon's wrist. Exactly. I grinned, clapping happily. I chose well when I named you my Forge Master. Now I am even more happy. Listen, explaining it would take a long time. I guess the printing machine itself is already ready. It is easier to put together than creating these tiny pieces. Yes, my lord. The rest have already built 6 machines. I did not forget about the very first task you gave us, so I instructed one of the blacksmiths to continue making these metal parts. I think in a few weeks we should have enough to operate all machines at once. Very good. Managing the guild like this is what is needed of someone in your position. I am more than pleased. It is my honor, your lordship. Tell you what, gather your apprentices when it's done, and Sasha and I will create the first printed book. It will be the manual explaining all that we know of CC, and it will be something exclusive for only your eyes. For me? Yes, I already decided that only the best will be allowed to work with and understand what CC is. It is something that is rare, irreplaceable, and already the core building block of my plans. I can't have anyone, but my most trusted people work with it. Only the Forge Masters will have the knowledge of how to do that, so that book will be your inheritance. If you are no longer my Forge Master one day, you will pass it down to the next. You can't teach it to others, do you understand? Yes, he saluted seriously, vowing that he would not fail me. Don't worry. If someone comes along who replaces you as Forge Master, you will not be gone. You will work directly under me. My lord? He flinched, looking at me questioningly. The role of Forge Master is not to hog knowledge, at least not all of them. I chuckled. You will share it with the others and look for talents who later on have the aptitude to replace you. When that happens, you will have 2 choices. Retire or come under me and work directly with me, handling CC. For now, don't think too deeply into it, my first Forge Master. Focus on the now, as the future will undoubtedly become the present. Later that day, I called upon Merlin, showing him what had been completed, and of course he was way more excited than I thought it would be possible. We need to use it to print out my books. Your books? We asked, looking at him, surprised, watching as he blushed, getting embarrassed. Yeah, I have written a lot already. Like, the ones I use when teaching others. And I have more. I have not shown anybody yet. Ooh. Ah ha ha. Don't get shy now. I laughed, rubbing his head, making him smile happily, enjoying it immensely. Compile them and we will print them out. I plan to establish the first printing works in the city to give some job opportunities. My own press will make the books I want, but I also plan to let my blacksmiths make more machines available to the public. Then those could be leased out to people, or let them buy it so anyone who is interested in it can start up their own businesses. They will need to be looked after, my lord. Merlin spoke loudly after thinking it through. What if they print something bad about you? I do not plan to introduce censorship, but lies and intentional sowing of dissonance will be punished. Oleg is already finishing the first round of training. The city guard will soon begin to roll out, so I will have to print out the first law book too. Ha! I have too many things to do. I smiled, shaking my head. Did you see the new building Francis and the others had been ordered to build? A man asked, spending the early evening in one of the first taverns that had been opened in the city. Yeah, we did. Sitting at the same table, his friends nodded and hummed, voicing their displeasure. A temple. Why do we need it? Damned church. We are better off without them. But where do we go if we are sick then? Perth. The others berated him. Did you forget already? They charged a lot for a blessing that didn't even work. Wasn't it Marka and her bruise that helped your kid when he was sick? Yes, that's true. He mumbled, burying his face in his mug. Speaking of Marka, what is she doing now? I hadn't seen her since moving to the city. Sorbo, do you know anything? You were neighbors. I do. The first guy who brought up the temple topic nodded. She finished school and supposedly scored really high on the final tests. Last I heard, she wants to expand on her remedies and start selling them. I think she presented something to the boy, Merlin, but I don't know much. Selling them? The other few mumbled, remembering how the church was asking a high price to treat illnesses, yet they usually never worked. Why not? After a few sips of beer, Perth asked again, regaining his courage, "You said it just now. She was good with it." I remember Otto coughing and having a fever. Her bruise helped him get back to his feet and may even saved his life. Why is it wrong if she wants money for it? We do earn it now with our work. It is the same thing, no? Whatever, Sorbo grunted. The thing is, we don't need a temple. Not in our city. I don't know what the king is thinking. Sovereign, Perth corrected him, making the others look at him weirdly. It is in the sample of the Book of Laws that you can read, nailed to the news post on the main square. Didn't you read it? What are you on about, Perth? Are you drunk already? The others laughed at him loudly, thinking he was speaking nonsense. Ha! There was news of the, what was it called? Constipation. Idiot. The way Perth snapped at Sorbo surprised the rest. He was usually way more restrained, but maybe the minor fame he managed to score got to his head. Just because you learned that word, don't use it willy-nilly. He is drunk, all right, he laughed, waving him off, but Perth did continue, ignoring Sorbo. Constitutions, that's it. In it, King Leon used the term sovereign when he was talking about himself. So, he is not a king or emperor, but the sovereign. Whatever. The others waved his words away, not bothering with it. It is the same thing in the end. Inviting the church back to our lives will have nothing good come out of it. You will see, mark my words. Yeah. The others nodded in agreement, voicing their own ideas on ensuring nobody goes into that temple when it's done. There was even some drunken sentiment that they should speak with Francis and make it so that the temple's construction would drag on and may have some additional problems, to make it undesirable to finish. But that was very quickly shot down. After leaving the tavern, Perth returned home alone, welcomed by his wife Nara, who had just put their kids to bed, helping her husband undress. "What is it, dear? You look troubled," she whispered, caressing his face. "I don't know. I feel I no longer recognize my friends. There are so many options for us in this city, and they are not seeing it." "Did you tell them?" "No," he answered, lowering his head, letting his wife pull it into her bosom. "I think it is useless to tell them anyway. They wouldn't leave the construction job with me." "Then just leave. You already got the letter. Leaving them behind is not your fault. The words of our sovereign are true. We do have the opportunity to better our lives. If they don't see it, we can't help them." What Nara was talking about was the open letter on their kitchen table, which Perth received 3 days ago. It was written by the Minister of Architecture, Renard, promoting him and placing Perth directly under him. He was to take up his new position in a week's time and began his official training to become an official within the ministry. The whole thing started when the city was being built. The competition that he had won and how his name was forever encased on the fountain's wall he designed. Perth always liked making things. Items, be they from clay or wood, anything that looked nice and evoked the feeling of pleasure when looking at them. It was the most liberating thing he ever did, and when he had the freedom to carve out statues, he couldn't help but let all his imagination fly through his fingers. He just couldn't shake it out of his mind, and since that day, he wanted to be more than a construction worker. Here, in this city, it turned out to be possible. Their sovereign did not lie. Their future was theirs to make.